I'll attempt to anyway. It's semi-last minute when I made my speech.
No, it isn't about this.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Dad. Right, so hey, I'm Josh. I'm Tim's son. Some of you might recognise me, but obviously it's been about 10 years since I attended school, and I have put on a significant amount of weight since then. So don't judge me, all right? So yeah, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I just thought it's really, it's a great honour for me to give the speech at this wedding because, I don't know, it's my dad, so it's pretty good. First of all, I'd like to thank all the guests and family and friends that have come today from near and afar, especially in these socially distanced times. It's such a lovely occasion to get everyone together, and we really do appreciate it. Secondly, and more obviously, thanks to the host, Tim, or Dad as I call him, or Angela, or Mum, maybe. I think we're relatively undecided, but you're Mrs. Maunder anyway, so let's do it. So yeah, for a relatively last-minute wedding, I think everything's been really great today. It's a lovely ceremony and a great occasion. I hope you've all noticed the bunting, obviously. So Angela's been just working solidly for the past week, like sewing everywhere. So probably doing more sewing than you get in sort of a Chinese labour camp at the moment. Satire. I thought I'd bring it in. Shout out to Imogen as well for putting it all up.
Moaning about all morning.
Yeah, I know you've just been moaning about it, but it looks amazing in fairness. An additional shout out to everyone else who's helped with the day, especially Sam, Claire, Kavita, and Richard, Mr. Hildebrandt. I only learnt Richard today, actually. Whose photography and videography will help keep today's memories alive for years to come.
Yes.
Let's give a cheer in expressing gratitude. Hey! Thank you. I was quite surprised when initially hearing about my dad and Mrs. Bailey getting together. I found out through some investigating during a long car journey. I was prying into Dad's love life when after some badgering he admitted to having someone he was seeing, but didn't want to tell me who. We entered into a sort of a 20 questions-esque game, and I narrowed it down to a teacher from the music department. If you didn't know, at the time there were 3 music teachers. My dad, a 50-something, Angela, a married 40-something, and Lucy, a 20-something newly qualified teacher. So you can imagine my issues in guessing. I was like, well, it's either the married one or the young one that's, no offence, a bit out of your league, I think.
Thanks, Josh.
But finally, he admitted Angela, and don't worry though, everything had been split up by this time. I just had no idea as I was at uni. Mrs. Bailey hadn't taught me at school, but there were 2. Sorry, taught. I do regulatory stuff for a living. I know how to read. It's fine. There were 2 things I can remember about Mrs. Bailey at school. 1, she was incredibly talkative, something I still agree with. 2, sorry Sam, but a lot of people in Wimband teased you because your mum was a weirdly attractive teacher. I try not to think about the second point now. With Dad and Angela being both music teachers, you would assume that it was their shared passion of music that brought them together, but it was definitely a shared hatred of annoying children, combined with being forced to spend at least 4 hours a day trapped in the tiniest music office you could possibly imagine. Yeah, well, you teach at some point? So I thought maybe 4 hours of actual office time.
In the office.
I suppose in that environment, the relationship would either end in marriage or some kind of horrific murder. Luckily, we got the marriage. The thing is that their relationship just works. Dad is calmed and relaxed, and Angela just talks and talks and talks really. But the thing is that together they have such a warm and loving relationship, and I've always felt so welcomed whenever I turn up out of the blue and sort of just demand food. It's been really cute now that I'm older to see my dad genuinely happy. It's always funny to see pictures of their holidays together, whether it's being sunburnt in France and the Switzerland areas, or getting swindled into buying tons of coffee in Marrakesh. As all of you know, we got some bad news recently about Dad, and it's just awful that this has happened to such a great guy. But the thing is that I'm grateful to you, specifically Angela, that you are there for my dad. I see you there sharing the burden, but you guys are always able to keep such a positive outlook on things. As long as, nice sneeze. As long as the treatment doesn't interfere with the gin and tonic evenings, we should be all good, to be honest with you. Right, I fully acknowledge that I'm not great at public speaking, so I now pass you on to my dad, who will say a few words. He's better at improvisation than me. Thanks again.
Oh. Well, I don't think I am, Josh. That was great.